On the horse. I thought this year we should aim a little higher, or perhaps aim a little lower. And so here's just a warm up for rodeo season.
Give that cowboy a big hand.
I challenged L. Frank to come up with something, and I think we can say he's completely matured.
Yeah.
Matured, recovered, whatever it is he's done. You will see this again, because you may remember, oh good, he's not here, so it'll be a surprise. Mark Roberts once a year reminds us that he grew up on a ranch and he can ride. So, we'll see that in some future version. Thank you so much. Christian, the thought for the day. I saw him come in. There he is, waving his gun.
All right.
You get home every night. Sorry. You get home every night, there's breaking news. Are we headed for a pandemic? Will our country go to war? Will the climate destroy our planet? There's so much out there. Right now, the first thing on our mind, most of the time, is the coronavirus. Right?
I don't know about your mind.
And I'm not asking you not to watch the news. I mean, if you have a job still, like me, and work for a living, you don't have time for the news. You have one time in a day to capture all the news. If you're retired, do you have to really watch the news every single minute? I hope not. That is not one of your values. I can guarantee you that. It's not what you're planning for to do in retirement. So I want to touch on a few things. You can control what you can only. That is all you can do. All right? But let me give you a few points. Where you get your news matters. So when you're watching the news for coronavirus, where do you get the news? I recommend cdc.gov. That's where you want to go get your news. Or World Health Organization, WHO.int. WHO.int. All you need to do, bottom line is, know what you can control and know what the symptoms are. First of all, do you have fever? Is somebody coughing? Are you coughing? Or shortness of breath? Many a time, it doesn't have to do with anything like sneezing or runny nose or whatever. If you have those, don't run to the hospital, because they're going to put you into the whole test again. You're going to expose people to the cold virus that you have, hopefully, and not the coronavirus. And if you have 100.4 Fahrenheit, you have fever, buy a thermometer. Everybody go buy a thermometer, or if you have one, go find it. Or 38.0. 38.0.
A lot of words.
No, I'm not reading all this. Or 38.0 Celsius. Bottom line is that, think of the fatality rate. To give you an example, on a recent study, 80,000 of identified cases, 77 are actually in China.
Yeah.
And the death rate is only 2.3%. So don't panic too much. Just do what you need to do that you can control, bottom line. And bottom line, do the regular things you normally do. Wash your hands, carry a hand sanitizer like me. If you shake hands, courtesy, shake your hand, then use this right away. 60% to cover all your hands, bottom line. Then, cover your mouth when you cough, and go like this, usually, and not coughing into your hands. So simple things we can control to live our life better. So please, stop watching breaking news. Watch it once a day. Go to cdc.gov and go to who.int. So grab your information. So if you have the knowledge, you have power. So again, knowledge is power. Everybody, knowledge is power. Knowledge is power. Thank you, Christian.
Come on, Christian.
Words to live by.
Coming to Rotary.
Yes.
Mr. President and fellow Rotarians, it's my honor to introduce my best friend from high school. Actually, we met in 3rd grade. We've known each other for 75 years. His name is Don Leaf.
Glad to have
Thank you, President Jay and fellow Rotarians. It's my pleasure to introduce our speaker today, and actually her name is Kirsten Dean, and she's pinch hitting for Faye Cater, our Executive Director of the Alameda County Fair Foundation. And so a little bit about Kirsten that you should know is she basically originates from New Jersey, where her dad is a lifelong Rotarian, has been a district governor, is that correct?
Correct.
In Rotary. So she knows a lot about Rotary and brings a lot to our foundation. She's helping us with our marketing efforts, and maybe after the meeting she'll tell you a little bit about that. But right now she's going to tell you about the history of the fair and the foundation's big project. Kirsten.
Sure. Okay, I'm very honored to be here, and as Paul said, my dad is very involved Rotarian in New Jersey. So when I spoke to him this weekend, I said, I'm going to be presenting at a club in Livermore, and any tips or, how to handle it, and he just said, don't go over. So if that's true here, I'm just going to watch my time a little bit. But thank you for having me today. I'm really excited to share with you about the foundation and the things that we're up to. Our Alameda County Fair Foundation, our sole purpose and mission is to create new opportunities for youth engagement, expand and enhance educational programs, fund capital projects that will strengthen the viability and relevancy of the fairgrounds for future generations. I moved to Pleasanton about 15 years ago, started going to the fair. Of course, I have 3 young boys at the time, and we spent a lot of time on the carnival side. Spending money, riding rides, eating junk food. We always wandered over to the pig races, but beyond that, we didn't get too far into the ag side because the friends dictated, they stay over on the green line side. And then I got a job about 4 years ago at the fair that ticked all my boxes. And it was part-time, it was flexible, it was with people. And I'm in the exhibits office. And I'm learning. Now I am full-time on the agriculture side. And I see the dedication and the hard work and the commitment that these people have to the idea of agriculture in Alameda County. And then an opportunity came up at the foundation. And I said, I'd like to move over there and help with this movement going forward. So that's how I ended up at the foundation. But first, I'm going to talk a little bit about the history of the fairgrounds, just to give you an idea of where we come from, so we can get into the present and then move on to the future. So some key dates, some key years. So 162 years ago, in 1858, the first meeting was held to discuss forming an agricultural society whose purpose was to hold semi-annual fairs featuring the county's agriculture. And then in 1859, Don Burnell built a 1-mile horse track on his ranch, which will then become part of the Alameda County Fairgrounds. It will become the main driving force of the fairgrounds. The track operated as a horse stable, a racing facility. It saw several owners over the years and name changes. And in 1911, grandstand seating, 300 stables, and other improvements were added under a new owner, Rodney McKenzie. The following year, McKenzie began a movement to stage a fair at his grounds and presented his plan to a group of local leaders. The Alameda County Fair Association was formed shortly thereafter, with the first meeting held in June of 1912. The group consisted of 15 members enlisted by Mackenzie. It's usually how we get our board members, right? People we know. They included businessmen, agriculturalists, livestock ranchers from Pleasanton, Livermore, Dublin, Hayward, San Ramon, and Irvington. The first Alameda County Fair debuted in October of that year, 1912. Private donations and a sale of stock certificates for $100 per share were used to finance the event. For the first few decades, board members and local businessmen put up their own money in the form of these stock certificates to fund the fair operations. They believed in this cause. They believed in the agriculture of Alameda County, so much so that they were all willing to take the loss. I think they did okay. But moving forward, with the country's entry into World War I, plans for future fairs were suspended. In 1919, the buildings and the property reverted back to ownership of Mackenzie. From 1916 to 1932, the racetrack, again the anchoring force of the fairgrounds, was leased to various people as a training track. And in the early 1930s, interest surfaced again in reviving the Alameda County Fair. In 1933, a state law was passed legalizing pari-mutuel betting, and a tax on the mutual handle went into a state fund to subsidize state fairs, to promote better development of agricultural products and livestock. And county fairs are the greatest public good coming from legislature enabling wagering. In January of 1939, the Alameda County Fair Association was organized in Pleasanton with the stated purpose to promote and encourage agriculture, horticulture, mechanics, manufacturers, stock raising, and general domestic industry, to advertise and give publicly of Alameda County as a desirable, prosperous, and adventurous place in which to live and settle, to promote the general welfare of the people of Alameda County, and to hold annually or at such other intervals or times as members designate a county or agricultural fair for the purposes herein before mentioned. The mission statement has been revised over the years, but the basic tenets, ideas, and purpose are still the backbone that the association follows today. In 1941, the Fair Association purchased the racetrack and surrounding 100 acres, and then deeded it back to the property to the County of Alameda. That forever protected it as a fairgrounds. So from the 40s through the 60s, the Fair Association operated the annual fair and race meet with oversight by the County Board of Supervisors. And during that time, the Fair Association continued to expand and develop the fairgrounds to its current 267-acre span. And in 1967, it was decided that the Fair Board should be autonomous and that the fair should be managed by a nonprofit organization. Since that time, the fair has operated successfully with no tax support from the state, county, or city. That's an important piece that a lot of people don't know when we're out talking. They think that we are funded locally and through the state and the county, and we are not. The Alameda County Fair Agricultural Association is a nonprofit organization. They are an independent operation that only requires county approval of its annual budget. Have you seen this house on our property? This is the Heritage House. It was built sometime around 1900. It's one of the only original structures dating back to the first days of the Alameda County Fairgrounds. The house has been a residence for caretakers and fair officials. It's been the main fair office. It's been a local area museum before the museum on Main moved off of our grounds onto Main Street. And eventually it fell into disrepair. But in the early 1990s, it was restored to pristine condition, and it's in continual use today. So now we've talked about the past, and here we are today, and I hope you all come and enjoy the fair, and you've seen what it's like today. But we will continue to teach and honor the history. The foundation is here to protect the future. So for more than 100 years, the Alameda County Fairgrounds has played an integral role in the preservation, promotion, and advancement of Alameda County's rich agricultural heritage. The Alameda County Fair Foundation was formed in recent years for the exclusive purpose of keeping the fair's mission alive and relevant for future generations. With an ambitious plan to build strategic partnership and raise capital funding, the Fair Foundation aims to drive community outreach and youth engagement through the endowment of innovative, technology-based educational programs and facilities. So watch as we take our first step towards that future with the farm. I think, can you trigger that? I just heard not my granddad's farm. That is correct. So it's no secret we are fundraising. It is a multi-million-dollar project. But in our focus to be involved with the community and have ways for people to join our efforts, we have two things that we're really focusing on this year to bring people in and to be involved. So this year, in addition to the continual work at building strategic partnerships and getting sponsorships, we are focusing on building a heritage membership. This will be formed by a group of any interested persons. This group will become the backbone of the foundation's support. Its sole purpose is to offer opportunities for individual contributions to support the Fair Foundation. And by becoming a heritage member, you would join an elite group of community leaders that are dedicated and committed to our mission. Not just financially, but with input, ideas, and volunteer opportunities. We want the people in the community to have a say in what's going on. Being a heritage member is a VIP experience and will allow you to be on the forefront of our projects, currently, the farm. Another way we are inviting people to be involved would be through our yearly signature event, the Garden Party. Last year, this high-end event was enjoyed by hundreds and was our biggest fundraiser of the year. So save the date. This year, it's on opening night of the fair. So these opportunities will allow us to connect with people who truly want to see the Alameda County Fairgrounds continue to be a thriving part of the county's past, present, and future. The farm will offer the school tours twice daily throughout the year. It will not just be a fair time event. They will get hands-on experience. We will have volunteers from docent groups comprised of master gardeners, local fruit growers, cattle ranchers, and various agribusiness be on hand to teach and guide the young. It's going to involve high tech. It is high tech meets farming. I said before, I sit in the exhibits office and they are working on curriculum. They have already met with school districts to integrate the California State curriculum into our school programming. The technology that's coming out is amazing. It's amazing what they can do. So from the solar-powered milking parlors, greenhouse gardens, high-tech beehives, the program will offer the hands-on Mother Nature meets cutting-edge technology farm-to-table experience. With a focus on health, they will learn all about the foods they eat and the amazing scientific interventions that make feeding and clothing an ever-growing population possible. So many times kids don't know where their food came from or how the clothing they're wearing became something real. They also don't realize that without agriculture, a lot of the equipment and items they use in sports would not be there. So through our learning opportunities on the grounds of the farm, we are hoping to teach educational subjects. We will have living features at the farm and structural and technological features, all showing students a career path, what careers in ag are looking like today. It is no longer just a man and a pitchfork on the farm. There are technology, it's computer programming, it's app building, it's drones. It's very exciting, and we hope to hold on to our history and move forward into the future. The farm will also feature, besides the education center, it will feature a large indoor classroom, kitchen, so that they can actually cook some of the food that they have seen growing, a beautiful modern outdoor kitchen and dining area, a large outdoor covered pavilion with picnic areas, and it will be available to the community for corporate and private events. You saw in the video, this is a conceptual drawing of what they want the farm to look like. For those of you who've attended the farm, where the welcome tunnel is, that's the red gate. If you came in the entrance by the red gate, and it goes to the back, 2.5 acres to the back. The land has already been donated. The barns will stay where they are, and the greenhouse will go along the side. Which crops we end up growing, which exhibits will be permanent and which will rotate through, those are all still being discussed and investigated. I think it's a pretty exciting adventure. So if you want to learn more or stay connected with us, we have email. We have our own website URL different from the fairs, but you can also find us by going to the Alameda County Fair website. I brought some materials that you could take home, similar to what's on your table, and a sign-up business card if you'd like to connect in some way. We'd be happy to add you to our email list so you can receive our newsletter and learn all about our story. And we hope you'll come see us this summer at the fair. Thank you.
Could you show us where the farm will be on the grounds, so we can kind of visualize where it'll be?
Yeah.
So if you come into the fairgrounds, this is the red gate. So if you've been to the fair and entered here, this is the red gate. This is where the pig races usually are.
Yeah, is that the back or what?
The Rose, what's it on?
So this is off of the Palm Avenue. So that main road that goes from Yellow Gate past the grandstands and continues down into the whole agricultural section of when the fair is there.
Okay.
This is also the drive-through tunnel. If you were to drive out of the grounds through the tunnel there.
The back,
Any
entering
other
the back of the
It's-
fairgrounds
it's-
where they have the auction for the kids for the farm
Correct. The
animals.
livestock barn is over here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's where the pig races are.
It's where the pig races are. Yes.
What fraction of that is actually built right now?
The barn is currently there, but it's going to be rehabbed. And this structure is here, although I believe that's being redone also. And that would be all current. I believe our next focus is the greenhouse.
For the classes, so basically September through, what, May, June? So are you working with the different school districts? The curriculum, I mean, what grade are you focusing on? Is there a particular
All
grade?
grades.
All grades?
So grades that are, interested, we're going to have different, there's several other farms through foundations in the area that we're kind of modeling after. And what they do is they have different curriculums. So on Wednesday, it might be upper class, and on Thursdays, it might be the younger grades, so.
Yeah, I just wanted to know if you are working with Livermore High School, for instance, that has the one ag
That
program
goes
in the
Ag Day.
Tri-Valley
Yes,
and
they do.
the FFA and.
Absolutely. It's a little early for us to be that involved, but they make the list every time we discuss it.
Okay.
Great, well, I'm part of that Ag Day, I put that
Yay.
Ag Day on.
Fabulous.
So I guess I'm really excited about this because this is something that kind of perpetuates. We focus on third graders, and you're right. They when we brought in the dairy display, we asked them where milk came from, and they told us Safeway.
Yes.
And it's very true. So in the summertime, are you going to be opening this to fair visitors, and is it all of it? Are you going to have displays?
So during fair, some of the grounds will go back to being used for what they are now, including, I believe, the pig races. That comes up a lot as to what will happen to the pig races. But then there will be specific events during fair. So they will change, the exhibits will change for the times of the year. Yes, permanent exhibits, and then we will have changing exhibits.
Yes, it's on. As an arts teacher, music teacher,
Yay.
I always love to see when it says STEAM.
Yes.
Lots of times when it says STEAM instead of STEM, there isn't really anything with the arts. So
Absolutely.
there are many, many things, mostly with the visual arts.
Yes.
That can be done, although I would love to see a plot, an experiment of plants that have had music played to them and plants that
Absolutely.
have not had music played to them, and if they grow better, stuff like that,
Absolutely.
creative stuff. So I would just encourage you, this is a very musical club. And so just checking in on the A part of STEAM.
Absolutely. So we firmly believe that the A is arts and agriculture, and they are going to work hand in hand. So I know that is on the discussions.
Can I ask another question?
Sure.
Okay, I'm very excited about this.
It's exciting.
So the path, the possibility of getting into ag-related fields, are you in touch with different colleges? Are you, when you're talking about helping them find a career, how are you
Right.
presenting
So
that to the?
we are just beginning on our outreach. We've already presented to the Chabot and Las Positas College admins. So we've done a presentation similar to this. We have interest there, and now we're basically all working our networks. And the response is amazing. People are very excited to get involved.
And then when she asked about the ag department at Livermore High,
Yes,
are they going to be somehow like supporting this, or are they going to be, I'm just thinking again about that future and those technical fields, those kids that are in those particular classes right now. Are you going to be working with that ag department at all in this? Are they going to be contributing or?
Absolutely. I know they're looking for advising on all, once we get into the meat of designing the specific programs that will be coming through. And like I said, they're always make the list of who to talk to. But our hope is that the students will come and be exposed to it, that Livermore will bring their students through.
Okay, to add on to Sheila's question, are you doing anything to help students move forward, guidance towards college and places like Davis and other schools?
Well, right now, we're trying to build, but absolutely, that is in the plan. We have very personal connections with UC Davis. So I believe in the conversation around what careers are in ag, of course, will come the educational component. Sure.
I get to ask a question. As a foundation guy, how much money do you need and what's your schedule?
Good.
There you go.
Do you want to mention, Paul?
So the farm is a big project. We anticipate that it's going to take between $2.5 and $3.5 million to build the farm. And then, and a lot of that money we want to generate through contacts with businesses and corporations that are on the cutting edge of creating technology to be used in agriculture. What we really want to do with the farm as we go forward, what Kirsten didn't tell you was that this idea really came from our CEO, Jerome Hoban, who previously built the farm that exists at Orange County Fair. And that farm is more just about showing people what's done in agriculture today. This one wants to focus on what the future is. The farm at Orange County Fair has about 230,000 kids a year go through that farm and see that presentation. And that's the scale on which we hope to do tours for students in the Bay Area.
We have a team down there today.
And we have a team down there today, she says. So we want to work with the school districts, the universities, and industry to basically have as an integral part of this, what are the jobs needed in agriculture in the future? And that's kind of the main theme of this farm.
Paul, so once they get it up and running, obviously you're gonna have people there manning it or running it. What's the budget that you kind of foresee, or the monies that you need to kind of keep it going? I mean, is it teachers or?
Well, you know, a lot of this at this point in time is sort of pie in the sky. We're sort of using the Orange County farm as a model of what it needs to operate every year. And that particular farm needs about $350,000 to $450,000 a year total operating costs. Hopefully, a lot of that will come in the form of volunteerism and also from grants from both the educational institutions and the business and scientific institutions that are helping to fund the farm. So the farm is sort of a two-process program. First, we've got to get it built. What's going to be in it is probably going to have something to do with who contributes to it and what their focus is, to be honest with you. And I think the fun part is what happens during the operations part of it, and what themes do we have, what stories do we tell, and how can we motivate students to be involved in agriculture of the future.
You made your dad proud. You didn't run out. No, you don't get to go away. You don't get to go. You have to do two things. One, you have to draw a ticket and read the last three numbers.
872.